Burkina Faso has officially criminalized homosexuality, making it punishable with prison sentences and fines. According to the new law, those found guilty could face between 2 and 5 years behind bars. The legislation was passed this week by 71 members of the Transitional Assembly, the unelected governing body currently in charge since the military seized power in 2022. The country's state broadcaster confirmed the decision, which was voted for unanimously. This move places Burkina Faso among the nations in Africa that have taken strong legal measures against same-sex relations, sparking debate both within and outside the continent.
The government says it's an effort to modernise laws, but LGBT organisations will be viewing it as another step back for people's rights on the continent. Fines and prison sentences await anybody engaging in or promoting homosexual or transgender activity, after Burkina Faso's junta passed legislation outlawing LGBT practices. A law that was passed unanimously on Monday by Burkina Faso's transitional parliament.
A person who engages in homosexual practices will appear before a judge and, in the event of a repeat offence, be deported if you are not a Burkinabé national.
The move comes less than a year after the country's neighbouring ally, Mali, which is also ruled by a military junta, adopted a law criminalizing homosexuality.
President Ibrahim Traoré, who leads the military government, defended the law in strong terms. He declared that homosexuality has no place in Burkina Faso, describing it as a foreign practice imposed on Africa by outside powers. According to Traoré, Western nations are pushing practices that they themselves are ashamed of and attempting to force African countries to adopt them as a norm. He went further, saying, "Burkina Faso is a country of upright men. Foreign interference will not be allowed. Homosexuality does not comply with the dignity of Africans, and it will not be tolerated here." The government argues that the law is meant to preserve what it calls cultural values, morality, and the dignity of the Burkinabé people. Supporters of the ban believe it strengthens sovereignty, especially at a time when the country is pushing back against foreign influence in its governance, military affairs, and culture. Since taking power in 2022, the Traoré-led government has positioned itself as a defender of national independence and African identity. It has rejected Western interference, strengthened ties with regional allies in the Sahel, and emphasized traditional values as a way to unite the country. However, international observers and human rights organizations are already voicing concern. Critics argue that laws criminalizing homosexuality violate basic freedoms, put lives at risk, and further isolate nations that adopt them. In the past, similar legislation in other African countries has drawn condemnation from the United Nations, the European Union, and the African Union itself. For now, though, the leadership in Ouagadougou insists the decision reflects the will of the people, not outside agendas. The Transitional Assembly claims the unanimous vote demonstrates national unity on the matter. As Burkina Faso continues to battle a worsening security crisis with extremist groups and ongoing instability, the government says defending moral values is just as important as defending territorial integrity. Whether this law will further solidify the government's position at home or lead to new confrontations with the international community remains to be seen. One thing is clear. Under President Ibrahim Traoré, Burkina Faso is charting its own path, one that rejects foreign dictates and defines morality and governance on its own terms. This has been the African Journalist on Africa Rising. For more stories shaping our continent, make sure you hit that subscribe button and stay with us on Africa Rising.